Hello and welcome back to the Southwestern Vehicle Auctions YouTube channel. You're joined by me, Owen, the classic car specialist here at SWVA, and today we're going to be looking at some of the top picks from our upcoming winter classic car auction, which takes place on the 30th of January. So let's get into it. So we're going to kick off today's video with a couple of little projects, and we'll start with lot number 3 in the upcoming sale. This is a 1989 Volkswagen Jetta GTI. Now this is a perfect little platform for a light project. This one, it's running, driving, but needs a little bit of cosmetic attention just to get it up to a nice standard where you could perhaps take it to shows or just show it off out on the road. It's been owned by the Car Mechanics magazine editor Martin Knowles for the last 26 years. So you can see it on the Classics World YouTube channel. The guys who come down and do some previews for us, it has been featured on our YouTube channel. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. So it's been seen online. It's probably well known to people who do watch their YouTube channel. And like I say, it's a perfect little project for, well, a little restoration project really. Comes with a comprehensive history file, including MOTs back to 94, and it comes with a book pack, which includes a stamped service book as well. Obviously, Jetta GTI, often overshadowed by the Mark II Golf GTI, but it's a nice little bit of difference. It's obviously the saloon-based Golf, really, I think you would describe it as. It's got the same running gear as a Golf, which includes a 1.8-litre 16-valve engine, 0 to 60 in just over 8 seconds. So perfect little hot hatch, hot saloon, whatever you want to call it. It is, like I say, perfect little project for a certain age group. Perfect little starter classic, really. This one's in at no reserve. So if you fancy yourself a Jetta GTI, why not come down and have a bid? So next up then in today's video, we've got lot number 15 in the upcoming auction. This one is a Citroen CX-25 GTI Turbo 2 from the year 1988. So again, similar era, in fact, same era as the Jetta that you've just seen. Again, a project in need of restoration or recommissioning, depending on which way you're looking at it. And again, I'd say this one is definitely a worthwhile project. This one is a right-hand drive example. Obviously, most of these were made in left-hand drive for the European market. So to find a right-hand drive one is very rare. In fact, it's so rare that this is one of just 25 examples registered for use in the UK. So one of 25 GTI examples in the UK, registered to the road, known to the DVLA, in fact. So very rare indeed. Definitely worthwhile restoring. This one's been owned by the vendor for over 2 decades. Unfortunately, there's not too much paperwork with it, if not any at all. However, the fact it's been owned for such a long time, the fact there's so little left, I think just makes it worthwhile, because this is the sort of stuff that will begin to pick up in the market at some point soon. Funnily enough, it is actually MOT, despite the fact that it does need some restoration and recommissioning work. It's MOT till July this year, so it's got a bit of a ticket on it. It can be used on the road. Obviously, the CX was launched in 1974 to replace the DS. Uses many of the features that the DS had, and you know, developed slightly newer, more modern features, even modern for, you know, way ahead of their time really. Obviously, being the GTI, this one is powered by 2.5-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and that produces 168 brake horsepower and can go from 0 to 60 in 7.8 seconds, which wasn't too bad for 1988, I suppose. So if you fancy yourself a 80s performance car that is in need of some work, then this is definitely the one for you. It's no reserve. It's to be sold on the day. And like I say, a project that is worthwhile restoring. Now you're joining with something just a little bit different. We've obviously moved on from the projects, and now we're going on to the modern classics / starter classics. And this one is the perfect one, I think. It's lot number 43. It's a 2001 Ford Mondeo ST24 V6. And the thing that makes these special is they're the first ever ST badged Ford. So right in the early 2000s, late 90s, these things came out. The first ever Fords with an ST badge on. Finished in a beautiful steel blue over a half leather interior, and it's had just 4 former keepers from new, which is extremely rare again on these Fords. These performance Fords, they usually rack up quite a lot of owners, but this one, nice and low, just 4 from new. It's one of under 8,000 ST24s produced, and now it's one of just 142 left registered on UK roads being used right now. So rare old things, these. This one's been extremely well looked after, and to find, you know, a rare car that's been well looked after sometimes is hard in itself. So this one is not your standard looking ST24. It's fitted with the Rally Sport appearance pack, which was a £1,250 option from the factory, and I think it looks all the better for it. Things included in that are a different front bumper, a boot spoiler, and some side skirts as well, just to make it look that all a bit more sporty. Obviously, these things are from a similar sort of era to the ST200, which came out similar sort of time. Unfortunately, they do not pack quite as much power as the ST200. However, I'd say it's probably still your perfect, I don't know, sports saloon, really. If you don't want to quite make that jump to the raucous ST200, and this is a nice middle ground because between your standard Mondeo and your ST200. Comes with old MOTs and invoices amounting to £3,500, and it's powered by the 2.5 litre 24 valve quad-cam V6, which produces 168 brake horsepower and capable of 0 to 60 in 8 seconds. So not the fastest car in the world, but 0 to 60 in 8 seconds was not too bad for an unturbocharged engine in the early 2000s. This one's got an estimate of £1,000 to £1,500 the next auction. I think it would make the perfect starter classic, especially if it goes for around that price, because you're not breaking the bank and you've got a beautiful, well looked after example of an ST24. Now, sticking with the slightly lower end of the classic scale, we're going to move on to this couple of minis, but we're going to start with this one here, which is lot number 49 in the upcoming auction. It's a 1981 Austin Morris Mini Clubman Estate. Obviously, British Leyland made this one. This one's finished in bronze yellow, which is a lovely colour, and I think it's probably most associated with the Clubman shaped minis. And it's got a beautiful backstory to it, this one. It's been owned by the vendor for the last 9 years. However, it was stored in a barn in France for the 20 years prior. So it's had a lot of time held up in storage, this one. I think that takes it back to about 1995 that it actually went into storage. So the mileage on this car may well be correct. However, we have no paperwork at all to suggest that it is. So it is being sold as not warranted. However, I've got a feeling that it might well be correct if the odometer hasn't been changed. Now, in the vendor's ownership, it's had new sills, new floor plans, and a completely replaced and resprayed front end. So it's had some work done. Unfortunately, there's no bills or invoices for this. This was all done by the vendor himself. He's used the car to enjoy himself. I think he's taken on a few classic car rallies and that sort of thing in his ownership. So it's been loved. It's been enjoyed since his time back in the UK, on the road in the UK. The vendor also believes that the engine may have been rebuilt by Minisport based on the engine number. Again, we can't verify this. However, for the looks of the engine, it looks like it may well be, but we just don't want to make any promises that we can't keep on this one. Definitely could be taken on further by its next owner. It's a perfect little platform. Again, I wouldn't quite call it a project. I'd say it's one that just needs a little bit of TLC or just somebody to take it to that next level. Now, this one's got an estimate of £2,000 to £3,000 on it. I think that is just a snip for a Mini in the current market. Unlike this one, no, this one is completely up together, and this one is lot number 52 in the upcoming auction. This is a 1987 Austin Mini 1000 City E. Now, obviously, the City E was pretty basic spec. However, this one is restored and kept to it's pretty much its original spec, bar a few amenities here and there, but it looks absolutely fantastic. Obviously, finished in red with black stripes and a brown half leather interior, which I've got to say does suit it really well. This one's been owned by the vendor for the past 3 years, and it's got a good history file with it as well, which includes MOT certificates dating back to 1990 and invoices for maintenance and servicing totaling around £2,500. So being well looked after, this one. Obviously, the City E, like I say, was bottom of the range. All it really differs from with the Mark 5 to the Mark 4 City E is 8.4-inch brake discs, plastic mini special wheel arches, but obviously this one's got the chrome ones on it. And you actually use the Mark 4 body shell as well. So not too much difference. Obviously, the City E also uses the economy tuned drivetrain from the Metro HLE. So very bog standard spec minis these, but this one's been done fantastically. It drives beautifully. Like I say, a lovely example. If you're looking to get into mini ownership, then this might be the one for you. We've got an estimate of £4,000 to £5,000 on this one. I'd say that's probably about right for a mini in this sort of condition. So if you like your minis, come down and have a bid. So the next car we're going to be looking at in today's video is something rather lovely indeed. This one is lot number 57 in our Winter Classic Car Auction, and it is a BMW 530i V8 Touring from the year 1996. Now, there's a lot of these about, however, this one I think is pretty special indeed. Obviously, finishing beautiful Orient blue over a blue leather interior, which I think matches really nicely. But what's special about this car is it's just one owner from new, one lady owner from new, and it's got a genuine 54,000 miles on the clock. Very, very nice car indeed, this one. I think you'll struggle to find another one like this, actually, because it is very clean indeed. Comes with a comprehensive history file, which is complete with the original BMW book pack. Invoices for servicing and maintenance totaling nearly £12,000, and the service book, which has 8 stamps in it. Last service was done in 2019 as well, so not too long ago. And within the history file as well, you can also find the original purchase invoice, which lists some factory fitted accessories that include a limited slip differential, air conditioning, and front airbags as well. So it's got factory fitted extras with it. It's got the original purchase invoice, lots of history. And obviously, this one being a 530i from 1996 is powered by the 3-litre M60 V8, which produces a 218 brake horsepower So obviously make it to a 5-speed automatic gearbox, going from 0 to 60 in 8.7 seconds. So bit of a sleeper, this one. Very nice condition, very nice car, very nice history with it and backstory as well. This one's got an estimate of £5,000 to £6,000 on it. I think that's worth every penny for a car that has done very little mileage for its age and has just had one owner from new as well. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while or keep up to date with our auctions, then you may well recognise this next one. It's lot number 45 in the upcoming auction. It's a 1995 Volkswagen Corrado VR6 Storm. Finished in beautiful classic green over a cream leather interior, and it's been owned by the vendor for the last 2 years. He actually purchased it from us from an auction in 2022 or 2023, one of those 2 years it was. And it was a nice car then, but the vendor has put some extra bit of effort into it and made an absolutely beautiful example of a Corrado VR6 now. Now, if you know your classic Volkswagens, you'll know just from me saying VR6 Storm, this car is incredibly rare already, but I'll break it down for you. I'll give you the figures. It's actually one of just 500 VR6 Storm examples produced and one of just 250 in classic green. So very rare. And to add to that as well, it's one of just 7 manuals that remain registered on the road in the UK. So very, very slim numbers there from production right the way up to the current day. There's not very many of these about anymore. History-wise, it comes with a service history of 14 stamps, and it also comes with invoices amounting to around £8,000 worth of expenditure. It's done 686 miles since its last service, and an average annual mileage of around 4,000 miles per year. So although that odometer might be reading over 100,000 miles, it's been kept very low on an average over its lifetime. To add to the expenditure and all the work done, it's actually recently benefited from new brake discs and pads, new headlining, a new rear spoiler, a new battery, new tyres, and work to all the electric windows to ensure they're all operating correctly. So like I say, the vendor has gone through this and made sure that it's an up-together example. It looks fantastic. I've always been very fond of these Corrados. I think they've got a very unique look and feel to them. And obviously with the VR6 Storm in it as well, it's got packed performance as well with it. This one's got an estimate of £8,000 to £9,000 on it. And I think that's probably the going rate for one of these now, especially with how rare they are. So if you're looking for a Corrado that is up together in beautiful condition, then this one might be the one for you. Now, for those of you that were quenching something just a little bit more classic than what we've been looking at so far, then this one might be the car for you. This one is lot number 60 in the upcoming auction. It's a 1968 Sunbeam Alpine. Series 5 Sunbeam Alpine, this one. Lovely example. Finished in carnival red over a red and black interior. It's a home market right-hand drive example, and I know some of you will love this, it's got the manual with overdrive gearbox as well. It's been owned by the current registered keeper for the last 3 years, and during that time it's had lots of work completed. But before that as well, it did have a full restoration in 2008, and other major work was also carried out in 2014, 2015. With the car comes a comprehensive history file, which includes MOTs and invoices amounting to circa £10,000. And to top it all off, the engine bay received a refresh in 2024, during which the engine bay was repainted, costing an acclaimed £3,500. So lovely example. This one prevents beautifully. It's got that manual overdrive gearbox. It's one of just 19,000 Series 5 Sunbeam Alpines produced. I hate to think how little of them are left in the modern day. This one's got an estimate of £8,000 to £9,000 on it. I think that's a going rate really for a Sunbeam Alpine in this sort of condition. It's beautiful, it drives lovely, it sounds beautiful. Come down and have a bid if you're looking for some open top sports car fun this summer. From a classic 60s sports car roadster, we move to pretty much the complete opposite. A big 2.5 ton lump, this one, but probably one of my favourite cars in the auction, just for how absolutely raucous it is. It's lot number 51. It's a 2002 Bentley Arnage R. It's a beautiful example, this one. Absolutely stunning. Just done 71,000 miles from you and looks that way as well. Inside and out, it's in fantastic condition. It's been owned by the current registered keeper for the last 2 years. And it's finished in silver storm over a black leather interior. So it really does look the part, this one. Comes with the twin umbrellas, an Alpine sat-nav and radio system, over rugs, and a bespoke indoor car cover as well. So lots of the original Bentley extras and factory optional extras as well fitted in it. So it's definitely a nice one, this one. Also comes with a comprehensive history file, which includes the original Bentley book pack and service book with 8 stamps. Also comes with MOTs and invoices as well. So nice and up together, this one history-wise as well. Good service history with it. Last service was in 2022 at 68,000 miles, so just 3,000 miles since last service. Again, peace of mind for the next owner that has been well looked after, and it probably won't need another service for a little while now, unless obviously you feel inclined to. Now, what is really special about this car is, well, obviously it's a Bentley and it looks nice and it drives nice and this, that and the other, but this one, the Arnage R, is equipped with the 6.75 litre V8, twin turbo V8, which produces an absolutely mind-boggling 450 brake horsepower, and it's capable of just 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. Top speed of 168 mile an hour as well. Not too bad for a car that weighs over 2.5 tons. So lovely car, this one. This one's got an estimate of £8,000 to £10,000 on it. Lovely example with low mileage, all the history, and a big old twin turbo V8 under the bonnet. What more does a petrol head want? So moving on from the Bentley then to something of a similar size, but a very different era in fact. This one is lot number 42. It's a 1965 Ford Zodiac Farnham estate. Now, it feels like all we've talked about today is rare cars, but this one is very rare indeed. It's finished in spruce green over a green interior. Obviously the paintwork could do with a little bit of work, probably needs a respray if you want to, or if you like the patina, you could go with it like that. But the interior is absolutely fantastic. It's been retrimmed at some point and looks all the better for it as well. It's been in the ownership of the current custodian for the last 23 years, this example, and I'd say it's probably the ideal choice. If you go to somewhere like Goodwood Revival or something for towing a period race car or caravan, it would look fantastic. You get a lot of looks turning up in this at Goodwood Revival. Like I say, it has got some patina, but it's up to you whether you like that or not. It's also recently undergone a large amount of recommissioning work after a period of storage. That work includes new discs, calipers, pads, rear shoes, and period correct armoured hoses, a rebuilt and clean carburetor, electronic ignition, new resin-filled sports coil, a reconditioned dynamo, and a solid-state regulator, new water and fuel hoses, thermostat and antifreeze, and it's also had an oil and filter change, a fuel filter replacement, timing adjustment, and transmission fluid top-up. To go on top of that as well, it's also had a new fan belt and battery. So it's been gone through, it's had lots of work done to it. It's despite the bodywork on it, it is a fantastic example and a very rare indeed. Powered by a 2.6 litre straight six, which is paired with a Borg Warner 35 automatic gearbox. Like I say, perfect for turning up to Goodwood, towing your period race car or caravan. Looks the part. And how often do you see a Zodiac estate? This one's got an estimate of 8.8 to 9.8 on it, and I think that's probably quite cheap, really. I know it's got some bodywork to perhaps do on it. However, if you think of what a normal Zodiac goes for, I'd say that's just a snip. So we've just looked at the back of the hall there at a 1965 Ford Zodiac. So while we're here, why not have a look at its 40-year older sibling? This one, of course, is a 1925 Ford Model T. If you know about cars, you knew what it was already. Lot number 48 in the upcoming auction. And for 100 years old, she is not looking too bad. She's obviously had some work done, but is looking all the better for it. Finished in factory black over black leather interior. This one looks as it probably did as it came out the factory, actually. It's been seen on TV and in films such as Downton Abbey, Mr. Selfridge, and Fantastic Beasts. So if you ever watch those films and you ever watch them again, keep your eyes peeled for this car because it is in all of those ones that I've just mentioned. So this car was fully rebuilt by a previous owner in 2010, and then once it was completed, it was actually purchased by the previous owner in 2012 to add to his fleet of film hire cars and World War II military vehicles. So comes from a good background, somebody who's restored it and then added it to part of a collection. This one is obviously the two-seat runabout, so it's got the interchangeable bodies. It can be run as a two-seat runabout without the pickup bed, as a pickup with the pickup bed, and as a van with the drape over the top of the pickup bed as well. So it's got versatility to it as well, which is probably why it's been used in TV and film, because you probably use it in multiple shots with a different number plate, with the different beds on it, with the different backs on it as well. Obviously, if you don't know about the Ford Model Ts, it's on a lightweight 100-inch wheelbase chassis. It's 20 horsepower out of a 2.9 litre side-valve 4-cylinder engine. So 20 horsepower is not very much, but by 1925 standards, that was pretty good out of a 2.9 litre engine. This one has got an estimate of £8,000 to £10,000 on it. I think for a car that is just about to hit its 100th birthday is probably good value for money. There's a piece of history here, maybe ready for you to take on. So into the final three cars of the video now, and again with something that is classic, but not quite as classic as that Model T we've just seen. This one is a 1973 Rover P5B 3.5 litre. Lot number 56 in the upcoming auction. And this one is very special. It's number 27 from the end of P5P production. So very late example of a P5B. Finished in its original colour of Admiralty Blue over a cream leather interior. It really does look the part. Very smart, these things. It's been owned by the vendor for the last 4 years and was originally registered to Rover in 1973 as well. Comes complete with the full original Rover toolkit, which is a rarity in itself. And it also comes with a comprehensive history file, which includes invoices amounting to over £35,000 of expenditure and the original Rover passport to service, which documents 9 service stamps between 1973, I think it was around 1975 as well. It did cover a load of miles within those years. So 9 stamps within the first 2 years of life. It's had bodywork repairs, a reconditioning of the alternator, fitment of LED headlamps, and the installation of new side repeater lenses, plus a new battery in 2017. So relatively recent work done to it to keep it up and going. It's been obviously well looked after. It presents well as well. One of just 317 automatic examples registered for use on the UK roads today as well. So lovely example of a P5B here. I think it's probably hard to find one that's probably quite as late as this one. This one's got an estimate of £8,000 to £10,000. I think that's probably right on the money for a car like this. So here we are then with the penultimate car in the video. This one is lot number 59. It's a 1965 Jaguar Mark II 3.8. Now this car has been fully restored over a course of probably about 20 to 25 years over 2 different ownerships. It's finishing cream over a retrimmed red interior. We'll get onto that in a little bit. And it's equipped with the 3.8 litre engine and a manual with overdrive gearbox, which is highly desirable on these Mark IIs. Unfortunately, the 3.8 isn't original. It was originally a 3.4, but again, we'll get onto that in just a moment's time. It's been owned by the vendor for the last 8 years. It was actually first registered in the UK in 1999 because it was imported from South Africa. It actually came into the UK in 1992, was restored then, where it was stripped, resprayed and rebuilt, including an engine rebuild by VSE specialists on its arrival in the UK. So it was restored first time round in 1992, then registered in 1999. In the vendor's ownership, it's had lots of work done, including new valves, full cylinder head overhaul, installation of hydraulically powered rack and pinion steering, and a complete retrim with full red leather upholstery, including correct front reclining seats. But that's not all. It's had loads of work done. The thing I recommend you to do is go to our website and have a look at the vehicle's listing, because it details everything that has been done there. There's been loads of money spent on this car. Lots of hard work has been put in by the vendor over the last 8 years to bring this car to the condition it is today, because no doubt it was good before, but it's absolutely fantastic now. I'd probably say it's a fraction better than the opalescent blue one we had a couple of sales ago. So very nice example. It's got invoices as well for all that restoration work. They've come to approximately £12,000 if you want to flick through all that. But there's so much there to look at. It has so much work done. This is one that I definitely recommend that you come down and see yourself, or have a look at the advert online and look at all the details that are listed out on there, because that will give you a good idea of what it is like. This one's got an estimate of £12,000 to £14,000. Again, a cheap Mark II 3.8 Jaguar ready for purchase in the next auction. Here we are then with the last car in the video. This one, saving the best till last, as always. Star of the show, this one, in my opinion. Lot number 53. It's a 1963 Triumph TR4. This one. Now, this one is one that you definitely have to come down and see yourself. Have a look at the listing online as well, because you really have to come and see it and look at that listing to see all the work done and really understand what this car is all about. Now, one of the most important factors on this car is it comes with the detachable Surrey top, which is such a desirable feature on these. Finishes signal red. It comes with that black detachable Surrey hardtop. It comes with a canopy and frame as well. Over a black interior with white piping. Looks the part, looks fantastic. I do love a TR4. They've just got this certain feel. They've got the looks, they've got that spirited driving performance. It's everything you'd want out of a classic sports car, in my opinion. Now, to go on top of all of that, it's a manual overdrive example, right-hand drive home market manual overdrive example. So again, it's ticking all the right boxes, this car. It's probably why it is the star of the show, in my opinion, because it's got the provenance and the background to it, as well as the condition. Now, obviously, to look like this, it's had to have had a lot of work over time, and it has had a lot of work. I recommend that you go to the website to see all of that work listed out. However, I'll go through a little bit of it in the video here today, because just to give you a bit of an idea of how much has gone into this. So the steering was actually rebuilt by TR Revington in 2023. They described it as one of the best TR4s they had ever seen and driven. I would have to agree, having seen and driven it. Other upgrades include a spin-on oil canister conversion, a high-torque starter motor, and a stainless steel exhaust as well. So it's had lots of work done to it. There's way more on the website. I recommend you go over there and have a look. It's www.swva.co.uk. So with all that work that's been done, there's obviously got to be a history file with it as well, and the history file on this car is absolutely stellar. It comes with old MOT certificates dating back to 1996, photographs of its restoration work, the original Triumph TR4 owner's handbook, and invoices totaling over £12,500 for work carried out from 2000 onwards. So this car, absolutely brilliant. It was purchased by the vendor in 2021 for about £27,000. Now it comes to us with an estimate of just £17,500 to £19,500. We sold one back in April of last year and made more than what this one is estimated at. This one is probably as good, if not better. So if you're looking for a Triumph TR4 that is up together with a Surrey top, then this one might be for you. So that's it then. That's a handful of cars from our upcoming winter classic car auction. The preview is all done and dusted, and now what I've got to tell you about is some information before we head to the day. So auction takes place on Thursday the 30th of January. We kick off at 10 o'clock on the day. However, if you want to bid, then you will need to register. Registrations open on Saturday the 25th. They open at 9 o'clock in the morning for online registrations and 8 o'clock in the morning for on-site registrations. And registration can be completed right up until Wednesday the 29th of January at 10 p.m. for online, and we will be taking registrations for hall bidders in the morning of the sale. So online, telephone and commission bidding can be registered for up to 10 p.m. on Wednesday the 29th, and hall bidding can be registered for in the morning of the sale as well. Now, if you want to come down and view any of the cars that you've seen in today's video, or perhaps you've seen them online already, you can do so. Viewings are open on Saturday the 25th between 8 o'clock and 11:30 in the morning. We're then open on the 27th, Monday the 27th, between 8 o'clock and 3:30, Tuesday between 8 o'clock and 3:30, and Wednesday between 8 o'clock and 3:30. Viewing will also be available on the morning of the auction. However, it'll be a little bit more restricted because there'll be a lot of people here for the sale. So if you want to register, make sure you register before the times that I've given, and don't miss out if you are really interested in one of the lots in the video. If you want to come and view, then you're more than welcome to come down, have a chat to us, and we'll be more than happy to help. So as always, any questions, give us a ring, drop us an email, and we'll be happy to get back to you. Thank you very much for watching this video. This has been our Winter Classic Car Auction preview, and we'll see you again next time.